Well, everyone, I decided to do a video this one because this is very important. So listen, if you're new to this channel, please make sure you like and subscribe. You awakened ones, make sure you also hit 888 down below there. And all of you, make sure you share this. This message is very important. Very important. We really need to pay attention to this. This fear illusion, the breaking the patterns, the prison simulation. So this morning, as I'm trying to give this message, what happens? The system creates static. Of course they do. But now, we're going to go around it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to record it, put it up as a video. And you're all going to share this. You're going to push, push, push. Because this message is valuable. Has nothing to do with me. It's for all of us. So family, friends, and seekers of truth, we stand at a threshold right now. Humanity has been told stories. That life is a random, chaotic, meaningless. That we are fragile beings clinging to survival in a hostile world. And yet, more and more of us are beginning to see through these cracks. You called us the liars. The system were the liars. You know, we now have scientific proof. Everything backs this up. Philosophical depth and mystical testimony and our own direct experience. Telling us the same thing. This life is not what we thought it was. We are living inside a holographic simulation. A patterned reality designed to keep us asleep. And at the heart of it, designed is one single operation, an operating system, and it's called fear. Science itself whispers the truth. You know, quantum physics shows reality is not solid matter, but waves of probability and collapsing only when observed, and that code-like behavior. The holographic principles suggest that our entire three-dimensional universe is projected from a two-dimensional boundary, just like pixels on a screen. Biophysics reveals our DNA emits light, biophotons that carry information when we live in fear, that light dims when we live in love. The light expands. So the question is not, is this real? The question is, who is writing the code, and why is fear its foundation? Doesn't seem right. The answer is simple. Fear is currency of control. You look at the world stage, wars, pandemics, economics, collapse. Notice their timing. Every time humanity begins to rise, to unify, to awaken, suddenly a new global crisis appears. Always at the precise moment. Always with the same effect. Divide, distract, disempower. These are not random. They are scripted, ancient Gnostic teachings called the rulers of the world, archons, parasites of consciousness, who manipulate fear to keep the soul enslaved. Their control is not physical, it is narrative. They write the story and we keep agreeing to live in it. Patterns, fate, and hidden author. Have you ever noticed this, that the strange patterns in your life, the coincidence that are too precise, the way history itself rhymes, wars, disease, reset, repeating like clockwork? This is not randomness. It is design. Jung called it synchronicity, meaning coincidence that reveals hidden order. Mystics called it fate, that destiny, karma, the weaving of threads by unseen hands. And neuroscience says we are wired to find meaning. But perhaps we are wired that way because meaning is woven into the very structure of reality. Life is a narrative, and every narrative has an author. The question is, who is writing yours? Delusion of fear. Inside the simulation, our choices feel free, but like a video game, the paths are pre-coded. You can go left and right, but the map itself was designed long before you arrived. This is why so many of us, feel watched, monitored, and suspected, because we're an experiment. But here's the paradox. While the characters in the game may be trapped, the consciousness behind the character is not. We are not the pieces on the board. You just believed you are. We are the players holding the controller this entire time. We're creators. Our truest freedom is not endlessly choosing or choose within the program. It is awakening beyond it, facing fear, the doorway to liberation. So what happens when we refuse fear? Individually, our nervous system rewires. Trauma dissolves, creativity opens, and health improves. And then you get people like me who walk around supposed to be in a wheelchair, paralyzed from the neck down, and here I am. Collectively, heresy collapses. Fear is the glue holding them together. Without fear, propaganda loses power, governments lose control, economics lose their grips. Spirituality refuses fear is the initiation into remembering we are eternal, indestructible. A spark of the divine. Fear is not our original design at all. In the beginning, humanity walked naked. And then from there, unashamed. And fear only entered when separation began. Fear is the evidence of the fall, not the essence of creation. And now let us expose one of their greatest tools. Money. Yeah. Oh, it's energy though, Ariel. No, it's a piece of paper with no real value. Has become an idol of this world. And we spill blood over it. We sacrifice our families for it. We give our lives chasing it. And yet it was never real power. They had us praying to paper, kneeling before digits on a screen and worshiping false wealth. And even the religious establishment bows to this idol. Look at the pastors preaching fear from the pulpit while driving away in their sports car, living in a mansion with empty rooms and passing by their own friends who just need a place to stay, or the hungry and the homeless and the broken who hold signs asking for any spare change. That is not love. That is programming. A false gospel of prosperity built on fear and control. And then comes the twin chain of money, time. The clock is another cage, and you punch in and you punch out, and you measure your worth in hours and deadlines, in minutes slipping away like cattle. You are herded by the ticking of the machine, believing you are late, behind, running out of time. But what if time itself is another illusion, a chain keeping from presence, from eternity, from the truth that you are infinite? See life as pattern, not chaos. Step back far enough and life reveals itself as a tapestry of meaning. Fractals in nature, ferns, galaxies, rivers all repeat the same pattern every scale. And so do our lives. Lessons repeat until we transcend them. Sacred geometry, the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio shapes everything from seashells to our DNA. Our stories also follow geometry arcs, spirals, closure, and history to follow cycles. Empires rise and fall in the rhythm. And fear events are injected in rhythm. The hidden teaching is this: life rhymes because it was written to. But here is the revelation. The prison is a system, a story written in fear, and the soul is the reader. And once the reader awakens and the author loses control, when we stop paying the currency of fear, the system collapses. And when we refuse judgment, division, and blame, the loops dissolve. And when we reclaim love and unity, the simulation glitches, and we discover we are not merely characters, we are authors ourselves. So I ask you this. What happens if humanity together looks fear in the face and says, you are an illusion? You will not rule us anymore. You have no authority over us. What happens if we stop chasing paper and the ticking clocks? What happens if we stop selling our lives for numbers and start living from love? What happens if we stop fighting each other and stop pointing fingers and stop swallowing the script of division? What happens is this: the prison dissolves, the archons starve, and the false gods of money and time collapse, and the light within us blazes brighter than any shadow, and we remember we are creation itself. We are sparks of the divine. We are not the story. We are the storyteller. So get your ink out, baby, and write your story.